Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is our progress where we infuse purpose, invigorate minds, and ignite change. Hey, I'm Kendrick Bailey, the Life Doctor.
I'm Terrence Johnson, the Life Excavator.
And I'm Champion Hart, the life champion.
All right, so the topic today is empowered by the right connection. So, for us, we know that if you're plugging into something, you want whatever you plugging into or connected to have some kind of power to it. And so, if you think about the people that you're connected to, are you connected to people that are empowering you for what your next steps are, or do you have a lot of people that's connected to you that feel like you're the source and they're being empowered from you, but you don't have the power to do the things that you need to do for yourself? And I think for a lot of us, we've been in a situation where we've been the person that people depend on, but then who gives us the power that we need? Who can we connect to? Or who are the people that we need to start to seek out to then give us what we need to be fed for the next step that we have? So I guess the way to start off is um, why is it important to connect with other people?
Jeffrey talking to us, Jeffrey.
Huh.
He was talking to us, but he didn't tell us he was talking to us. So why is it important for us to connect with other people? So when we was thinking about, the topic today, connections are important, and we always talk about connections. And we always talk about the importance of pouring into people, but at the same time having people pour into you. And so on one of our previous lives, I think Terrence mentioned about not being plugged into like a dead power source or a dead battery, or
Mhm.
what's your connection. And so if it's important to be connected to people that provide, power or provide a source of strength to us because they give us something instead of taking away from us. Just like like if power guard, you got a generator as backup support. You need multiple people in your life to provide to be a power source, just like they need multiple people in their lives to be a power source. But if the people that you're connected to only pull power from you, so think of jumper cables. Jumper cables connect, two batteries together. One battery is dead, and the other battery is, probably fully charged. And so, um, one connections pulls from the other one in order to recharge and get back where they're supposed to be. And so in life, if you have 10 people pulling from you, who are you pulling from, or who is providing the substance to go into your life?
Mhm.
Exactly, because I was sitting here just looking at this my little lamp that I got here that's
Mhm.
shining. Um, it's kind of like if it's not connected to my computer that I got here, the light doesn't work. The light
Mhm.
doesn't shine.
Mhm.
So it's important, if it's important to have or important to be connected to something that will allow your light to shine. So if I unplug it, then the light goes out. And
Mhm.
then until I get back connected to the right source, then my light won't shine. So it's important to figure out who in your life that you can rely on to allow you allow your light to shine. Because you don't want to just be, plugged up to the wrong source. I can't, because this thing has a USB connection to it. I can't go plug it into the outlet. It won't work. So you have to be connected to the right source in order for you to shine.
Right. So I'm gonna make a connection from both of what you said, both of y'all said. So what Kendrick was talking about with the jumper cable, and at times we need a recharge. But one of the things, sometimes the very people that have drained our battery can't restart us. And so a lot of times that's when we get stuck. We expect the people that have drained our power to then recharge us or restart us. But 9 out of 10, wherever you stop and you need to get boosted off, you usually meet a stranger because you're usually in a place that you didn't know you're gonna stop. So you had to find somebody else, find somebody new to restart you. And I think that's the other thing is you have to start to condition yourself to start to go out and meet new people and not be afraid to do that. Because if your situation get bad enough, you'll start to reach out to people that you didn't think you would because you're like, man, I got to get back restart. I can't just be here just stuck. If I need to find somebody that can help jump me off so I won't stay here. And then what Jeffrey was saying about being the right connector. So you were talking about the USB connects to his computer. But then, if you plug in right into a wall socket, that's a different connector. And that's a different type of power. And so whatever you are looking to do next, you have to make sure that that person is connected to the power source that will get you to that. So if you got big things and big dreams you want to do, you can't be plugged into people that have a lower power source than you, because then it won't match. So just like what Jerry said, if you get the wrong connection, even if you plug in, it still won't shine the way it should, or it still won't power up like it should. And sometimes that's what we do. We connect with people, but it's not the right power source. So either we'll still get drained, or the amount of power that they transfer to us is not enough to get us to our next stop or next destination.
And then what served as a power source in one area or one season in your life may not serve as a power source in another season. And so, what gives you, like say if you athletic, or you in fitness, what may provide you motivation and substance, in that aspect of your life is being more healthy, might not be the right power source that you need if you're trying to grow, spiritual, or if you're trying to grow emotionally, or if you're trying to grow financially. And so you have to have different sources for the different things that you seek out. So the areas in your life that you want to grow, it's important to be connected to power sources that may enhance you, or may have several backup supports, to constant replenish you.
Okay, so I guess one question I have, and maybe it's been answered already, but like, how do you know if you connected to the right source, other than I guess going back to my example, your light being shine. But how do you get to the point where you can get connected to the right source? I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I think it's two parts to your question. So one part is identifying what you're trying to get connected to. So what is the purpose of the connections you're trying to make? And then once you realize that, then it's easier for you to discern if a connection is good for your next steps, or if it's something that will then it's only feeding you to where you are right now. So if I know that my goal is to like own my own house, but if I'm connecting to people that don't know anything about that, then they can't inform me of that. And so then either it'll be to at a point where I'll flip and start helping them do stuff because they don't have the experience or the knowledge of the very thing that I'm trying to do. So if it's an imbalance like that, whoever knows more is usually gonna then go back and share more compared to the person that they connecting to. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess basically what you're saying is try to find like a mentor or something like that. Get connected to someone like that that can, kind of guide you in the areas that you want to get connected in.
Yeah. So it basically, just think about your connections like you would when you were in school. You had electives, right? So it's like, okay, I like art, I like music, I like this. I want to take, I might not take that as my major, but I like that. I like certain aspects about it. It's the same thing about networking. It's like, okay, let me find some people that are doing some of the things that I want to do and just try and connect with them. And then that can inform me because they have more knowledge in that area than I do. It's an interest of mine, but they might, not necessarily be the expert, but they got a lot of experience in it. So what they telling me is firsthand knowledge and not something that they read or whatever. But help inform me of, well, maybe I could do some things in that area because I had this conversation.
And then the person that you connected to, it doesn't have to be somebody that you physically see. It can
Right.
be somebody that you watch on,
Right.
TV. It could be something that you read about. And the other piece to your question was, how do you know when you connected to the wrong source? So think about, you know, being drained. So that's what's happening to a battery when the jumplicators are pulling the energy from the stronger battery. So you're being drained, you're being fatigued, you're more susceptible to, burnout. Those things help you know that maybe you're plugged into the wrong power source. But also, sometimes feeling tired and you hadn't been doing a lot of physical things, so the people that you surround yourself with in different areas of your life where you want to grow or you feel like you need something, that's important.
Yeah. I was gonna see if Jeffrey had something to say before I said something because
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say that because I thought he was gonna say something.
I was waiting on you, man. Look like you had something good, so I'm gonna let you go
Well,
ahead.
it made me think about the documentary, The Black Godfather on Netflix, and it was something he said, and it like I caught it when he said it when I watched it the first time, but then when I rewatched it, then I got a different take on it. But he was like, I don't have problems, I have friends. And so at first I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, oh, you just know a lot of people. But what he was meaning was he doesn't have problems. Any problem that he has somebody that he can connect to get an answer from.
Yeah.
And so when you think about it that way, if you at a point where you're stuck because you refuse to reach out to somebody that knows more about your situation or the area that you're struggling in than you do. So it's almost like an ego thing of I got it all together or I know everything I need to know, and you don't reach out to people that can help. Because there's people waiting to help and be of assistance if you know exactly how to reach them, but then also then look at the connections you already have and see who's already in your circle that can help. Because sometimes we already have the people around us to help. We haven't asked them or had that conversation with them. Or we just haven't talked to them deep enough and had meaningful conversations enough to know different areas that they could be of assistance to us. And so that's why it's good to not only just connect with people to say like, oh, I know this person, I know that person, but you need to know exactly what they're passionate about, and they need to know what you're passionate about. because as things come across to them, they say, oh, well, Jeffrey, I know he like that, or he interested in that, or he do this. Let me call Jeffrey, let me see if he, know some different resources, or vice versa. And that's how you grow networking connections organically, instead of, oh, let me give you my business card, this my business number, my my website, and do that kind of stuff. That's not what it's meant to be. You cultivate these relationships uh as a person to person thing. And as you evolve these relationships, then they could turn into different things, collaborations, business opportunities, or whatever. But you just want to make the connection with the person first, just through conversation.
Hmm.
And I think we try and make business things too early. You don't know what you're gonna do with the connection yet. You just want to make the connection.
And then if you plug into the right power source, they can forecast some of your future endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, when you think about the weather, man, they forecast what can potentially happen based off the guidance they have. So if you're connected to the right power source, they see you in different settings than you see yourself, and they may know who may be a good resource or a good reference to pull something out of you that you've been waiting to put out. But when you connect to the wrong sources, they don't pull out or they don't forecast things for you. It may be for them. And so that's why it's always good to know who you're connected to. And knowing who you're connected to is a part of awareness, because then you know if these people are in your life to help you, or they're there to pull from you. And it's okay to have people that pull from you, but you don't need 10 people pulling from you and 0 people putting into you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, batteries have, certain, life, they have different lifetimes. Some batteries last for 1 year, some batteries last for 5 years. If you have so many things pulling from you, then you hit those drainage or those burnout stages faster. So you may hit a stage in 3 months if you got 10 or 20 people pulling from you, versus if you're only pouring into 2 or 3 people, but at the same time, 2 or 3 people pouring back into you, you're constantly replenishing yourself, and you don't ever get to that point where you're in a deficit or you're depleted.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are things that we all have to pay attention to. I wrote something down, but I'll come back to it another time.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I want to add to what you were saying. So like you were saying, it's important. But one of the things some people will pull from our power source, but then they're using it to connect to their next step too. So when it's like, so you think about it, and think about an extension cord. A regular cord only has a certain amount of length to it, but you hook an extension cord to it, then you can reach further. But usually an extension cord, you either, depending on how it's connected, you have other places to hook up multiple things to it. So for our purpose, or whatever we feel like we're called to do, we need people that are extension cords to us. That once we connect, they connect us further, and then connect us to other things that we won't be able to be connected to by ourselves. And that's the whole purpose of connecting the people. It's not necessarily that singular connection, it's also connecting to who they're connected to. So then it's a chain. So then that's how you continue to be replenished, is because now you're connecting to people that now have a new circle of people that can then help you too. So they might not be the ones that help you, but they might lead you to the person that really does help you. And so it creates a chain. And when you're the person that's always doing the connecting, then you're gonna get to a point where you're not putting them extension cords out. because you're not gonna have time to really go and foster those relationships like you need to. So like what Kenny was saying, you have to be selective in who you invest in time into, and the way that you see if the investment is worthwhile is if they are applying or using the things that you are giving to them, and not for themselves, but then to connect other people as well.
And so you just brought out some other stuff. All right, so you're talking good. Talking good. So,
I tell you, I can help somebody today. Now I can help somebody today.
So what Terrence is describing is the role of the giver and receiver, because with power, everybody has the capacity, or power is about the capacity to do something. So everybody has power; they have the capacity to do something, but sometimes we stay in the giver or receiver role for too long. The giver, if they stay in that role too long, gets depleted.
Yep.
If the receiver stay in that role too long, they become stagnant. And then they're dependent upon somebody else to provide substance or the knowledge or skills for them to move forward, and they hadn't learned to move or operate from the giver and receiver role. And in life, we supposed to be in both roles, and we supposed to welcome being in both roles of the giver and receiver, because sometimes it's meant for you to receive, and you have to be able to accept receiving and to get out of the season of giving. Because if you always the giver, again, it's going to drain you, it's going to burn you out, it's going to deplete you. So it's important to receive to replenish yourself. And then, like Terrence was talking about with the extension cords, know the roles of your extensions. Know what roles they play. Some extension cords are longer than others. Some extension cords allow you to plug in more outlets, to yourself, like a surge protector. What's the surge protectors in your life? Because a surge protector has a function, but I'm gonna let Terrence and Jeffrey tell y'all the function of the surge protector.
See, you come on connected, because that's why I was going next. You helping. So all right. So you think about the surge protector. The surge protector allows things not to burn out, because if you back in the day we all used to do it. You used to have them extension cords run all through the house and have all this stuff connected to it. Like, hold on, we got to take this one out because it might spark or something and all that. So we can overload the line because we don't organize our connections correctly. What that surge protector does, it then channels all that power into one place, but you can have multiple connections. So now those people that I was connected to, if I can order them right and put them in one place, now I got as much power as I need, but it's not draining me, because the surge protector makes sure it doesn't pull too much from the main source. So it evens all the power out. But if I tried to put one single thing and hook a extension cord to it and another one to it and a splitter to it and all this kind of stuff, then stuff catch on fire, because I'm overloading the power source. And so if I had a surge protector, now I can be intentional about plugging, because usually you got a surge protector, just like you got a computer. You're like, okay, I got to hook my printer up. I got to hook my modem up. I got to hook this up. So I got all my stuff organized right by me. If I got too many things going, then I can't reach it, because this over here and this also, I got to unplug this to get this going. And so I can't function the way I need to, because it's not ordered right. But usually that surge protector, it groups all the things I'm connected to for one source. Okay, go ahead, because I know somebody. I know somebody. Go ahead, somebody hop in, because I know somebody about to do.
I got some of them. Shut up and let Jeffrey talk. And you and Jeffrey gonna laugh at me when I say this. I've been telling everybody that I come in contact with lately, clients, whoever, about watching Mr. Rogers' A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect example of what we're talking about today, about empowered by the right connections. So if you hadn't seen It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Mr. Rogers, check it out and you'll understand what I mean, empowered by the right connections. Mm-hmm. Because somebody has something for you and you can't replenish yourself and you can't go to the next steps unless you plug into what they have for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I kind of want to go back to something y'all said a few minutes ago about being the giver and the receiver. Mm-hmm. And so basically what you were saying is you got to have a balance between giving and receiving. All right. Yeah. So if I'm on one, either if I'm out of balance on either one, how do I get back into balance?
Okay.
If I'm giving too much and not receiving, or if I'm receiving too much and not giving enough, how can I, balance it out so that, I'm not stuck and I'm in that perfect spot to do both.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say this.
No, go ahead.
So
they're probably gonna set me up anyway.
All right. So the giving part is a boundary issue. If you giving too much, that means you haven't established healthy boundaries with what you're gifted to do, or about how you spend and invest your time with people. So if I feel like I'm getting drained, it's because I've now relaxed some of my boundaries, and everybody or more people are now asking me for things that I don't filter out and I just agree to. And so that's the giving part. The receiving thing is an ego thing. So anytime I'm not receiving as much as I need to, I'm not seeking that out, is because I'm thinking I can do it more on my own than I can. Mm-hmm. So then I'm not valuing the things that I could receive or I am receiving, because, I have what I need already. I don't need anybody's assistance. And so then I can shut off what I can receive by my own ego and me being arrogant and me saying, I got all the answers and they don't know what they talking about or whatever like that. So the balance is between your ego and your boundaries. If you relax your boundaries too much, you're going to let too much stuff in. If you think too highly of yourself, you're going to think you have all the answers. So that's the balance. It's like I can't get too high and think that I know everything, but then I can't allow everybody around me either. Because then that can pull from me, because the people that you really give to and really receive it well, they will start to feed you too. And not necessarily they give you something back, but they'll come back to you and tell you how they applied what you gave them. And then that will kind of give them confirmation, like, okay, this is somebody I can continue to invest in, because they're using what I'm telling them and they're applying it instead of just listening to what I'm saying and then it just goes nowhere.
No, that's good. So I wrote down obligations. I wrote down boundaries. So I'm gonna take boundaries. I'm gonna add a different layer to it.
Okay.
So Terrence always talk about, we sometimes say yes when we need to say no. So that's one way of knowing. But sometimes we say no when we need to say yes.
Yep.
So that's the piece we don't talk about enough when it comes to boundaries. Sometimes when we say no, we need to say yes. It's easy for us to understand when we're saying yes and we, mean no, because you be like, dang, I ain't really got time to do this. And all of us do it. We say yes, and we don't really have the time to do it.
Right.
And so we give time to it and we rush it.
Yep.
Now we got to seek out opportunities to say no. I mean, to say yes when we are used to saying no, because that creates an opportunity for us to learn. That creates an opportunity for us to grow, but that takes the opportunity for us to do some self-care or some work on us too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you're, and then a lot of time that gives you the permission to be the giver and the receiver. So the two things I just described, saying yes when I should say no, that's the giver role. Saying yes when I need to say no, that's when you're giving too much.
Mm-hmm.
Saying no when I need to say yes is where the receiver should be.
Mm-hmm.
So the receiver know when they need, to say yes, and they break that pattern. And so you have to look at it in a different way, because it's like, what are you missing? If people ask me to do something, I've done it the last 20 times, it may be time for you to say no the next time.
Mm-hmm.
If you've turned down your friends 20 times in a row to go have a day out to just replenish yourself, it may be time to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're giving yourself the permission to live and enjoy yourself or just do something for you. When oftentimes, empowered by the right connections, we don't give ourselves permission to do the thing that serves us best.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. That's good. I had a point and you kept rolling and I lost something I was gonna say. but
man, hold on. Somebody said they need answers. I got to go to the Take the Journey page for this one to see who actually said it. I'll tell you in a second. Man. I got to switch pages.
Okay. While you finding it, I'll keep rolling on. So what I want to say, to kind of add to what you just said, it's important that you don't try to define the connection at the beginning. Some connections are not. I know who that is. Yeah, I know who that is. So, some people, you just have an initial connection and that's it, and it doesn't go farther than that. But it could be something that was talked about, exchanged in that can then you can apply to your life. So sometimes it's not the duration of the connection. It's just you making that connection. And it might just be for that one conversation. So don't feel bad if you reached out and you try to make a connection and it didn't go further than that. Sometimes it's only made for that first one. Maybe that's all you needed. And that person gave you what you needed or gave you perspective. And then that was it. And so you have to evaluate it not on how long or how much stuff you've gotten, from a person or a connection. It's just the quality of the connection. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if it's only in one chance meeting, that might be it. That might be all you need. So you don't have to make it allow whatever you gain from the connection to be something that you can apply.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, if you just joined us in, empowered by the right connections, this doesn't necessarily have to be, a person all the time. It could be a book that blows your mind and it just, changes your perspective and shifts how you do things from that point on, because you found that aha moment in your life and it's just shift the dynamics. And so go ahead. Jump in.
You brought it back to me. So this is what I wanted to say. One of the things that get people stuck too is that they fear the status of the connection that they feel like they need to make. So because somebody has a name or somebody farther up or got a different degree or whatever else, you feel like, oh, they're not gonna talk to me, or they not gonna, they already busy. They're not gonna make time.
Yeah.
If people understand your heart to do stuff or your determination to get stuff done, they will make time to meet with you and talk to you. But you position yourself in places that you can meet these people, or two, find avenues that you can connect with them either online or through networking, websites or applications or whatever. So majority of the people that have been my mentors, I've met them either pretty much through what they do. Either if they had a workshop, they did a conference, they did something, and I had a conversation with them afterwards, like, hey, I enjoyed this, or hey, you were talking about this, I'm interested in that, or I attended some, and then just through the session, then it was a response back. And so if it's something that you really want to do, then or people you want to connect with, start to figure out where these people are, what they do, start connecting to it. It might just be you signing up for one of their free trainings, and sending them a message after that, or watching a YouTube video, and they might be starting an online community or something, and say like, hey, I'll be interested in joining it. So it's like you have to then start to position yourself not only just in the places that the people you want to connect with are, but people like you or that's connected to that particular field or industry that you can connect with too.
I'm gonna throw out something that T do, Jeffrey, and you gonna be like, yeah, this is what he do. Because we hadn't talked about this piece yet. So it's an element that we hadn't talked about by empowered by the right connection.
Yeah.
Sometimes the connection you need to be empowered by is the person that you see in the mirror. And so the people, your mentor or the connection that you have will point you back to you. So T be doing that to me sometimes, and I be want to throw rocks at him. I'm like, man, why T doing it? But see, now we had this conversation. Now I understand, why he do that sometimes. He did it when I was in grad school. He was like, it's like what I be telling him. I tell him this, hey, what your gut say, or something else. But T way of pointing the answer or pointing back in your court, he'll do it from a teacher's standpoint. And you don't know he's doing it until after he did it. Oh, okay. So having this conversation, then like, okay. So connect with yourself is the next piece, or one of the most important pieces to empower by the right connection. Sometimes you got to unplug from everybody and just recharge you, because the answer is in you. But if you don't connect with you, you won't ever find the answer.
Yep.
So I guess that can kind of go back to what I was saying earlier about the balance, whatever. So if you're out of balance with yourself, you can't really connect to anybody else. So so having that self-care and figuring out what charges you can, I guess what you're saying, better make you a better connection for someone else also.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's not about anyone else. It's just you need to connect with you so you can get back to the best version of yourself. At that point in time, nobody else needs anything from you except for you. It's getting back to basics. I'm the person that needs to dominate my time now in this particular season. So it's not that it's going to be a permanent thing, but I got to dominate my time now with me if I'm going to get to certain places too. So sometimes we have to just plug in ourselves. And even though it may sound common, people don't practice it all the time because we're so used to, pouring into other things or other people.
Yeah. So I got another angle to what you were saying. So not only can we be empowered, we empower ourselves, or we recharge ourselves, but we also have to learn to listen to what we are saying. Because, and like I said, Jeffrey and Kendrick know this for real about me. most of the stuff that I say to people is just reusing their own words. So I'm not saying anything different than what you're saying, but you're not really paying attention to what you're saying as it relates to you. You can talk, we can always talk about not talking about other people, but we can tell people things and kind of detach ourselves from it. And so we'll just be talking, we'll be talking and we'll be talking, and we don't even know that we're saying our own answers. So with me, what I do is pause it. And as soon as you say something that relates to what you really talking about, I say, okay, hold on, let me just tell you what you just said. And this is what you just said. So this is what you said you wanted to do. Okay, now how we gonna do that? And you're like, no, but I'm just like, no, but this is what you said you wanted to do. Like, this is what you just said. And I don't think we really take the time to really listen to ourselves and really use that to empower us, because we know exactly what we want to do. A lot of us are afraid to then take what we really want to do and then put some action to it, because what we want to do is so outside of our norm most of the time that makes us afraid, and then we pull back off of it and like, nah, but I know I said that, but I can't do that now, and I ain't got no money to do that, and it's gonna take time, and I can't do all that. I already sacrificed enough stuff, and then it's gonna make me more time. I had to get up early. I don't really want to do that. And so when you get to the point where you are in need of recharge, that's when you really start to seek out the connection. So a lot of times you can know what to do, but until you reach that point where you can't do anything else, that's when you start to reach out. Cause like, man, I don't know how I got here. Like, no, you got here because you didn't want to connect to people. You didn't want to get no help. You didn't well, not so okay, I'm gonna say it like this. It's not always that you don't want the help. Sometimes you don't know how to ask for help because it's different for you. And I know for me, that's been, that's been something that I've had to get more accustomed to, is seeking out help and asking for help when I need it, versus waiting till I'm stuck on the side of the road and say like, hey, can you jump me off? Because that's what a lot of us do, is like, we know the signs, when your car battery going down, but you're like, oh, I'm making a couple more days, or I get paid next week, so I can hold off on it right now. So a lot of times the warning signs, you just don't listen to them, or you don't really allow yourself to be aware of them. And then when you need recharge, you're like, man, now okay, let me go through my phone, who can I call, who up right now, who and so then we have to seek it out then after it happens, instead of being more proactive before we need recharge.
Sometimes we overestimate our ability to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when we operate out of in an area of our life where we're being depleted, sometimes we jump in protection mode and we give ourselves more coverage than we actually have. So I'm talking about me today. So we give ourselves more coverage.
I wasn't gonna say that.
We give ourselves more coverage than we have. So you have to recognize that pattern. When you really get depleted, you're gonna give yourself more coverage than you think you have. And that's the time that you really need to be asking to be pulled into something else, or pulling people that you can get, some power from. David got a wowzer for us right here.
I was like, y'all would come with these paragraphs.
I just seen it was a whole paragraph, so I was like, you got a wowzer for us.
So yeah, but that's good about stereotype and for like men, because that's how we get stuck a lot too. We are conditioned to not want to ask for help, because we're like, oh, I'm man, I can handle it, I can do all that kind of stuff. But then it just kind of some, because we have conversation throughout the week, we realize that a lot of issues and concerns that we thought were just ours, all of ours, in different levels or aspects or whatever. But because we weren't thinking about it, or we didn't feel like we could share those things, then we were just depleting ourselves and wearing ourselves down, because for us, we get validation for putting more and more responsibility on ourselves.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look what I got this going, and I got that going, and ooh, I'm working all the time. And look at me. Look. I can handle it. And on the inside, we not. We just kind of slowly, like just dying from the inside out, because it's so much of the validation from the outside that we never validate ourselves inside.
Mm.
And that's why real energy comes from inside, not outside.
Yeah, we always talk about everything you need is internal, but we tend to look external. So if you just join us again, I got to plug it one more time. Empowered by the right connections. Definitely a good discussion and definitely a good topic. So if you just joined in, go back and get the recap or watch it from the beginning. Because we definitely been talking about some good things as far as your power source. We talked about the purpose of the surge protector, having extension cords to the things you need. And sometimes what you need to open your eyes may not be a person, but it might be a book, it might be a video, it might be a movie. It's anything that you can connect deep with and gain a different perspective or gain insight. So like Jeffrey is in the insight realm right now. So
he hit some hit him. Some hit him good. Yeah.
I'm about to shut up and let him go.
No, you were saying, the different sources of your connection, either a book, a movie, or something like that. I was just sitting there thinking, like, it can't be a Facebook Live too, because some things can hit you, kind of like y'all hitting me today, but that's okay. Yeah, because one thing, and just being transparent, that's one thing that I struggle with is reaching out, or connecting and networking and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I've just been sitting here like, gotta do better. So, but
it's not just you though. It's not just you though. Everybody has a piece of them area in their life where they struggle with reaching out with. So in certain areas we reach out and it looks normal, but in other areas we don't reach out. Everybody it may be different for everybody else. Like what's making it difficult for you to reach out, mine may be something different. T's may be something different, but we all got the same commonality, is that we struggle with reaching out. By having a conversation, you start pulling back all the layers of what reaching out means.
Yeah. So I guess one thing, man, how do you begin the process of reaching out? If that's something that that you struggle with, whatever, that you haven't done a lot of, how do you, I guess, start that process?
Well, all right. So I'll start here. So Quay comment. We'll probably go to
that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say the main thing that stops you from reaching out to make connections is feeling that you don't have value in the connection that you could bring somebody else. So if I don't feel like I have some of value to give to somebody, I won't reach out, because then I'm always thinking that whoever I'm connecting to, they always got what I have that I could give to them.
Say it again. You kind of went out.
Yeah, broke up for 1 second.
Okay. What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. Just reset it.
Okay. So I was saying what usually stops people from reaching out or making connections is that they don't value what they bring or they can bring to other people. So if I don't feel like what I have is valuable, my experience, my knowledge, or whatever, then I'm not going to be excited about reaching out to people, because then it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to be listening to what they do or what they say, or I don't feel like I got something to reciprocate to them, because they the expert, they got everything. I'm just somebody that's now just trying to get information from them. And so I think when you come from a standpoint of I don't necessarily know exactly what I can give a value, but I know I have certain things, certain ideas, certain experiences that I know could be beneficial to people if if I know exactly what they're looking for. So sometimes it's then not looking at what you offer from just your work experiences or your degree, but just what are your interests? What are you passionate about? What do you research or read about a lot? And that's how you can pass things along. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you connecting with people that's in your field or what you used to connecting with. Sometimes the better connection, and most of my best connections have been nothing to do with my field, but it's like-minded ideas or thoughts or values that I connected with people on. So I
So
think that. Go
no, I
ahead.
would say so. One thing I was kind of thinking about. So I guess one thing you have to get past is uh the value that you do have, even if you do give it, and person may not do anything with it, or you know nothing happens, with it. Then you have to be okay with, you know, you have to be okay with that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then one of the points I was going to tell you from what Terrence said, a lot of times the simple answer to our question is where our power comes from. So what do I have to offer?
Mm-hmm.
Tells people what power or gifts they have to lend to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if I add what power do I have to offer, it's going to be the same thing as what do I have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to get to that question, Koyak, because
Yeah, yeah,
that's a loaded
yeah.
question because it's
It's,
going to take us to the last point probably. So I'll
I
let you after the
yeah,
first thing.
put it back up. So all right, so that's good because okay, so I'm gonna frame it this way. So maybe it's not a bad connection. Maybe every connection is just a connection. How you frame it or what you learn from it sometimes colors it that way. But just think about um somebody that was rude to you or didn't treat you right, or you had a conversation like, man, they just something was off about that. What that does give you is practice, and practice that you wouldn't have had until you did that. So now, because people like, and I say it all the time, people gonna be people. So it's gonna be people that got bad attitude, people with good attitude, people that's gonna talk to you in a nice way, and people that's not gonna talk to you in a nice way. So people gonna be people all the time. But what you can do from that connection of something that you thought that was bad, is apply the lesson from it. So we've all been, and we ain't gonna go down this road all the way, but all of us have been connected to bad bosses.
Yeah.
But we learned so much from them after the fact. Now the experience while we were in it was hell. It was. But on the other side of that, it was a lot of lessons that we apply in our progress because we know how it is to experience certain things. And it's like, okay, well, we want to do the opposite of that. But we wouldn't have learned that lesson if we wouldn't have had that bad connection. So it's like, what can you extract from it? Because if you remain in the feeling of it, you can't get the lesson. Once you can heal the pain of it, you can get the lesson from it. But we sometimes stay in the pain so long we can't get the lesson from it. And that's why we can't move forward. Not that the pain wasn't justified. We haven't learned why we had to go through that.
So couple of things. Bad connections bring forth good fruit.
Mm-hmm. Say it, hold up. Say it again. Don't say nothing else before you say that again. Say it again.
Bad connections bring forth good fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and fruit is the product or the lessons we learn.
Yeah.
So those are the things that connect us to purpose, but that helps us remove from the distractions that we encounter as well. And so that's why we can look back on bad connections and smile about them and we can look back on bad connections and understand the purpose of them. And we don't want to avoid bad connections because bad connections can teach you a lot about you, and it can teach you how to disconnect or avoid turbulence in the future when you encounter it again. And so, welcome bad connections because it's going to teach you how to be empowered by the right connections. And man, so many people saying so much stuff now, man. I'm trying to get all of it. I'm trying to get all of it.
It's good. It's good, man. It's good.
I'm gonna let Jeffrey and T finish it off, but I had to say that.
Yeah, nah, that was good. So when you were talking, that I told you he be saying some stuff now. He be saying some stuff now. But it made me think about what Keon Henderson preached about yesterday. And we're talking about, you need to thank the people that put you on the cross, that crucified you, because you got to the destination you were supposed to because of that persecution or that hardship or whatever. So your road, even to the point of you getting to your destination, had you not experienced that, you wouldn't have what you needed to then get to that point. So everybody, all the no's, all the bad bosses, all the struggles, all those things were meant for your good. Not saying that they were good while you experienced it, but it works for your good because it had to build something within you to then handle the next step. So if we wouldn't experience those issues with bosses or being in places where, we felt like the leadership wasn't right or didn't appreciate our gifts or the hard work that we put in, we wouldn't be able to endure this part of the journey of now stepping out into nothing and being okay with not necessarily okay with it, but we know how to navigate it better because we had built up that strength that we needed. Now y'all need to, I'm telling you now, now I'm gonna say this. If you don't watch Keon Henderson,
check him out.
Go watch him now. I'm telling you now, he's gonna bless your life. He gonna bless you. So yeah, go watch his sermon from Sunday. Okay. And then watch on Tuesday nights, watch Tackle the Text at 7 p.m. whatever. It's on YouTube. Watch it every week. It's gonna bless you. Okay. I do that. But that's what it's for. So when we're connected to the right people, it's not necessarily we're connected to them for everything good that happened. Some of the bad situations that happen to us are common to the people we're connecting to. And so we can either add to their knowledge of what they need to do in their situation, or now we can have somebody that can relate to our issues and concern that we've had because they've experienced what we've experienced too. And sometimes those things are the things that connect us, not the degrees or whatever, or the status thing. Is common human issues. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good too. So yeah, I'll stop with that.
No, you keep talking. I just wanted to show people that piece.
Yeah,
I said you keep going. I just, how we pull different people up. Keon Anderson, somebody we talked about.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, throw out Felix Anderson, but not you stop talking. You keep going.
No, it's good. I was just trying to see because I don't know if Jeffrey had something to say.
Oh no, I'll listen to you, man. So
okay. Okay. I keep
you cut it off, so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why are you stopping?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you were wrapping it up for the day.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I wanted to make that point. So I guess to wrap it up, since we almost at time, it's one, you are worth connecting to. So even if you don't value yourself or you don't think you are. It's people that's waiting to connect to you so then they could go on their next step. But if you are the person that you feel like you frustrated and you stuck, it's because you haven't made the next right connection for you to then that person can lead you into your next step. So, like I said, one thing I truly believe in, if you ever have an issue or concern or a place in your life where you feel like, man, I'm stuck, it's not a personal problem, it's a people problem. Is you haven't connected to the right person that can then lead you to the right information, lead you to the right resources or whatever. So if you get into the point where you frustrated, don't think about what more do I need to do, is who do I know that I can connect to that can help me to go next step. And I think that's the thing. So if you get to the point of doing that, you can avoid being on the side of the road with your battery dead, because you always, when you start to feel it, when that meter start going down and you see that your power is going down, you're like, oh, let me find somebody, let me connect, because I'll usually go by 85, 90 on the, well, I ain't gonna say that on the interstate. We do speed limit on the highway, but if you feel like, man, my car's struggling to hit 70, 75, like, so what's going on? Go look, you need to find a connection to recharge, because you don't want to be out on the interstate on the side of the road broken down or without your battery running, because then you got to wait for somebody to come and jump you back off.
No, that's a good image. If you need to jump off in life, make sure you're empowered by the right connections. Yeah. Hey, great discussion, great comments, great feedback. Share this with at least 5 people, and allow it to help them gain a different perspective. And we'll keep coming to you live on Mondays and Thursdays. So until Thursday, we'll come up with another, great topic and see if we can move people forward. Progress. We'll continue to infuse purpose and invigorate minds and ignite change with the people that want to see it. See you on Thursday.